Hello everybody, I am Razorblade Mango. First of all, I want to apologize for the lack of videos for the past 2 weeks. Without going into so much detail, long story short, I've been pretty busy, both with stuff, work related, life related, personal bullshit. So I haven't really been all that motivated to do a video in a little bit. It's only been like 2 weeks, but it feels like months, which is weird. So yeah, I do apologize. Definitely going to be getting back on track with Bubbly Nostalgia next Monday. And I have a trilogy of games planned out for that to make up for the past 2 weeks of the lack of episodes. So we're going to get on that. Also, I kind of have a video series in the works, I guess. I'm waiting for the right game to start this out with, because I do want to start putting playthroughs on my channel, not just have stock images and stuff like that. And I actually want to have stuff where guys get to see me play stuff without doing the streaming, which I haven't done a stream in a while. So I did a small stream, I think last week or so, and that was just to kind of test out what I could put up on YouTube from my PlayStation 4 and how I could edit that together. And I tried recording an episode of a playthrough of a game, and I didn't really care for it all that much. It was just really just going back and watching it. I was just like, this is not me at my best. So I scrapped that. I'll probably do this for Fallout 4. Yes, I most likely will get Star Wars Battlefront Day 1, so I'm gonna be doing that. The Bloodborne DLC, that is definitely a contender for that. And, but yeah, I'm trying to start a playthrough series of a game. I don't want it to be an old game, something new, something that's come out. And, what else is new, before I talk about the conference? So, I played a certain preview of a game that I cannot talk about. I cannot mention it by name, but let me tell you guys, it was fucking glorious. And I had a damn good time playing it, and you are definitely going to see it on my top 10 most anticipated games of 2016. It's probably going to be in the top 5. This is a day one buy for me. I cannot wait for this game. And it sucks that I cannot talk about it by name. You guys have to trust me. I'll talk about it when the time is right. But it's definitely a game that I am beside myself with joy and excitement to get my hands on and play the full thing. And last bit of news, I have my Xbox One. So I'm still trying to. Well, first of all, I don't really have barely any games for it. The only ones I have Walking Dead Season 1 and Rare Replay, both of which I enjoy a lot. So yeah, I have an Xbox One now. Fancy that. This isn't just an exclusive PlayStation channel anymore. Now, it's Xbox has joined the family, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I like it. Anyway, so on with the PlayStation Paris Games Week press conference. And to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect from this. I mean, there are a number of ways this could have gone. This could have been just a complete drag of filler, boring shit before the big stuff that they are obviously going to announce at PlayStation Experience in December. Or this could have been something really exciting, where there's just a ton of really exciting announcements, lots of big surprises, stuff like that. And this conference fell somewhere in the middle. It was not as mind-numbingly dull as past PlayStation conferences have been, but it wasn't the emotional highs that were like E3 2013 or 2015. So this was like the middle ground. This was it was kind of like a subconscious compromise between Sony and myself, where, you know, they did show stuff that I got really, really, really excited about, and I am very much looking forward to some of the stuff that they showed, some of the stuff that they announced. But then there were just stretches in the conference that were boring, with a capital B, capital ORING, fucking dull. If I was tired, I would have fallen asleep. So it was boring on that level. Just, but I'll get into it. So I'm gonna start chronologically, and I mad at myself that I didn't write this down. So I'm going from what was announced on PlayStation Lifestyle, like during their hearing. It's like a combination of what I'm reading from PlayStation Lifestyle.net and Twitter. So they started off with two of the big games coming out next month, which is not exclusives. It's Call of Duty and Star Wars Battlefront, which have apparently like exclusive stuff with PlayStation. Of course, you got the bundle, you got the season pass exclusivity stuff for Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3, again, it's kind of just the same reaction I had when they showed it off at E3. I was just kind of meh. I mean, I liked the beta to a degree. I thought it was okay. But unlike Battlefront and the thing that I played that I can't talk about, I can't see myself playing Black Ops 3 multiplayer for like more than, I don't know, an hour top. So it's just, the multiplayer just isn't my thing. Zombie mode, on the other hand, that looked interesting. I really liked the trailer that they showed off for the zombie mode a few weeks ago, I believe, or maybe it was even like months ago, but it looked cool. Am I going to get the game? Probably not. Probably I'll rent it from Redbox or get it used or something like that. So we will see. Star Wars Battlefront, that trailer looked fucking sweet until I remembered that none of the game is gonna look like as dynamic as they're making it out in the trailer. Which, I'm sorry, I mean they make a damn good trailer, but it's just not. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you guys, that's not the way it looks. For people that did not play the beta or haven't seen any of the gameplay, it's not gonna look like that. So I am sorry, guys. It's just not gonna happen that way. And next they showed off Street Fighter V, which I fucking hate it when any conference does this. When they're all like, oh, well, we're bringing something back, and it's gonna, like, the 1990s were such a good year, we're gonna bring something back. And I was like, oh shit, they're bringing something back from the 1990s. Holy shit, are they gonna do Crash? Are they gonna do Spyro? Starting this conference out with a bang. And then they did Street Fighter V, which I'm not knocking Street Fighter V because I'm somewhat looking forward to it. I guess it looks interesting, and I like their approach to the downloadable content this time around, where you actually can buy the characters with in-game currency. It was nice to get a more detailed explanation of that. There's going to be 6 characters, and it's not like fucking Mortal Kombat where it's like, oh, you bought the game? Well, why don't you pay $40 or $30 more dollars for 4 more characters? Why don't you pay another $30 for 4 more characters? No, this is how it should be done. I'm glad Capcom, who weirdly enough are like used to be known for horrible DLC practices, but now it actually seems like they're getting the hint. So it looks good. And I think this leaked a while ago, but Dalsum is a playable character. He looks fucking cool. And yeah, that was Street Fighter V. And then they moved on to Tekken 7. Didn't really talk about that all that much. They showed a little bit of the story, which I really like Tekken, but I have never been into the story. I think it's just it's nonsense most of the time. And it was a CGI trailer. We didn't really get a good glimpse of the gameplay, so I was kind of meh about that. They talked about Battleborn, which is the next shooter from Gearbox and 2K, who of course did Borderlands. So the beta is going to be first on PS4, and it's an open beta. It's coming out next year. They announced local split screen multiplayer, which I actually didn't think it was going to have, but I guess it does, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see more big AAA releases have split screen multiplayer, because people still want split screen multiplayer. Yeah, they still do. Sorry, big AAA gaming industry. We still want local multiplayer, so you need to make more experiences like that. And then they talked about some like other stuff. There was like this Boundless game that looked a lot like Minecraft. There was some weird, I can't remember the name, and they're not showing it here, so fuck it. There was this weird like music rhythm game that basically I was just joking with a friend that I was watching it with. It was basically Dubstep the video game. And then there was a third one, No Man's Sky, which of course it looks fantastic. You had narration from Rutger Hauer, which was pretty cool to find out. The one downside, June. Holy God, June. We have to wait till June to fucking play this shit. Oh my God. Oh man. I mean, I was hoping it would be this year, but oy. Man, June. Woo. And then House Marquee came onto the stage. They showed a little bit of Alienation, which I thought looked kind of like a downgrade based on what we saw of it last year. Last year it looked fucking great. This year it just looked it looked fine. I didn't really like the graphics change. If they did change the graphics, or if it was just the way the demo was shown off, it just looked different in a bad way. And then they announced a new game, House Marquee, called Matterfall, which seems like, well, a friend of mine was talking about, he said it was like New Age Titanfall or some shit, which I kind of did, but it was colorful. I need to see gameplay before I make a big, fair impression of it. And then they talked about Ratchet and Clank, showed that off. That looks fucking cool. For $40, yeah, I'll definitely pick that up. Love Ratchet and Clank. Horizon Zero Dawn. Yes, they talked about Horizon Zero Dawn. The new gameplay they showed, it looks so good. They talked about how crafting is a big part of this world, which they already announced, but it was nice to see in the game how this works. And it's good to see that the gameplay shown at E3, it was like they were actually playing it on stage. So this is the gameplay, and the gameplay looks great. So I was very, very excited for that. Very blown away by it. That is definitely like one of the big games I'm looking forward to in 2016. Very, 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 very into that. And then Naughty Dog came on stage and talked about the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, which of course is going to be in its beta form. If you bought, you can participate in that. If you bought the Nathan Drake collection, which is going to be like early December, I believe they said. And it looked fine. I mean, I don't play Uncharted for the multiplayer, and I'm still a little like about what I saw. But it could be cool, especially if I buy Uncharted 4, if I don't just rent it for the story, which is most likely what I'm going to do, because I only play Uncharted for the story. But we'll see. I mean, if I check out the multiplayer, I hope it's good. Looks fine. And then they talked about Drive Club, which it's some like Drive Club bikes standalone thing, which I didn't really give two shits about. That dragged on for a little bit. Didn't care. Next thing they talked about, unfortunately... Oh, no! The next thing they talked about, and I'm sorry, I'm going out of order here. They talked about Gravity Rush 2. So, truth be told, I've never played the original Gravity Rush because I never owned a PlayStation Vita. But this game, it looks pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in checking out the remaster of the first game they're doing for the PS4. And they also showed off Bloodborne, the Old Hunters. Nothing we really hadn't seen before, but we got a big glimpse of like the most marketed boss from that thing. And that monster looks nasty. It looks like a nasty monster. I like their creature design in Bloodborne is already phenomenal. So it was no surprise to see how amazingly disturbing the new boss looks. That thing, I can't even describe. You know, a boss design looks phenomenal when you can't even describe like what it is, because it is such a grotesque monstrosity. So that looked amazing. I cannot wait for Old Hunters. Less than a month to go. So excited for it. And then they showed off one of the things I was looking forward to the most from this conference, which was the big info blowout of Dreams. So we got to see lots of Dreams in action, which is, of course, the next game from Media Molecule, who are famous for Tearaway and, of course, Little Big Planet. And this game looks very, very fascinating. They showed off that, like, a lot of, like, and they kept stressing, a lot of everything in that demo was not pre-made assets or anything like that. It was all player-made, all made from scratch, all from a new engine. I mean, it looked cool. I mean, it looked cool. The concept is interesting, where you can create your own little, I think they called it an imp, and it's kind of like your avatar in this world, where you get to, like, take over the body of some of the inhabitants of these dreams and create your own stuff in the dreams. I mean, it looked fascinating, just the stuff they were able to do in it. And of course, you can craft whatever you want, I guess. You can do puzzle solving, you can do action stuff, you can do music performances even, which is weird, but I'm definitely interested in learning more. My only concern about Dreams is that I'm curious how much longevity it's going to have if you're not really into creating your own worlds. Like, if you're just into going into other people's stuff, like I am when I play Little Big Planet, because I'm not very good at doing the level creation stuff. So all I like to do is just go in and mess around in other people's levels. So I'm curious how much longevity there is, and it's a similar concern I have with No Man's Sky, and I'm very excited for both, but that's a concern that keeps sticking in the back of my mind. I mean, we'll see, obviously. I'm definitely gonna give both of them a shot. To be fair, I'm much more excited for No Man's Sky than Dreams, but it looks good, and I was even more interested in the game after what they showed today. And then they got to what I thought was the incredible low point of the conference, which was they went on and on and on and on and on and on about VR. Which, knowing me, if you guys ever heard me talk about VR from any of my past videos, I don't give a flying fuck about VR. Okay, especially any peripheral. And I'll broaden the category. Any peripheral that outside of a main console that PlayStation talks about. Because I love PlayStation death. And this is like my saying at this point, I wave the flag for Sony, but if there is one thing they are fucking terrible at, it is support for their peripherals and their non-main console stuff. Because everybody that's getting excited about VR and talking about, oh my god, I want a VR, it's going to be so great, I want you guys to look back on how many things PlayStation has announced as peripherals or add-ons and stuff like that, and has completely, maybe given them like 1 or 2 years of really meaningful support, and then just left them out to die in the cold. I can give you a list right now. The PlayStation iToy for the PS2, that failed. The PlayStation Move, that failed. PlayStation P, not a failure, but Sony definitely could have done much better supporting that thing. PSP Go, that was a disaster. The PS Vita, we all know what that's like now. I mean, they only third-party companies really support that anymore. And they even announced no first-party development for the Vita, so they completely screwed that over. The camera for the PS4, they barely have talked about that since they released it. The PlayStation TV, or whatever the fuck that thing was that came with the Lego Movie video game, you don't hear about that ever. Yeah, they do not have a good history with supporting their peripherals. It's going to be no different. Mark my words. It's going to be no different for the PlayStation VR. And I personally don't have any interest in VR. I think VR, and like remember when everybody was saying that 3D was going to be the future of technology? How many games out there right now support 3D? Let me see if show of hands. How many games out there support 3D on consoles? Let me see. None. Maybe 1 or 2 that I can't think of off the top of my head, but barely any. And that was supposed to be the big future of PlayStation. 3D is the future. Oh, and that fucking Wonder Book too, whatever that thing was. That was bullshit. That Sony just, I don't know what happened with that thing. You guys remember that from like 2011 or 2012, where they had like the magical world of PlayStation Wonder Book, and you see a child with a wand waving over this book. It was fucking stupid, and they never talked about it ever since then. It was like dumped and never talked about. So yeah, do not trust Sony when it comes to peripherals. I don't care how much stuff they talk about. I'm like, oh, we have this at launch. We have over 200 studios working on PlayStation VR. We have so much stuff. They're not going to, okay? I don't care what they talk about at launch. I give it a year and a half at best before they completely dump VR, because no one's going to give a shit about it, because the fad's going to die, and then we're going to be back to talking about games where you just don't put anything over your fucking eyes, you sit your ass on your couch with a basic controller, and you play video games while looking at a TV. That is video gaming, not this VR shit. I'm sick and tired of VR. It hasn't even been announced, hasn't even been released yet, and I'm fucking tired of it. Fucking sick of it. And they talked about that for like a good 20 minutes. And usually when it comes to these conferences, if they want to talk about VR, if they want to, I give them 5 minutes tops to talk about it. But Sony said, fuck that shit, and just went on and 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 on about fucking nothing. about VR, about how fucking whatever that the Guerrilla Games mechanized combat thing is VR. There's a Crytek game that's VR. That admittedly, if it was a fucking game just for PS4, a non-VR, that would be cool. I'd be down for that, but it's not. It's just VR, so fuck that shit. They talked about Until Dawn, a rail shooter Until Dawn. Oh my god. No. Please no. Battlezone, no. This virtual reality experience based on the movie The Walk, which no. Just all this stuff. And another thing about VR, they were flashing these quotes on screen that were oh, people like fucking IGN and GameSpot and all these, believe the hype, VR is amazing, PlayStation VR is wonderful. Let me tell you guys something. All of those quotes have come from people or media outlets or websites that have played VR in a controlled environment. Not in a casual environment. It's not like PlayStation sent them a VR headset for them to try out on their couch using their actual PlayStation 4. This was a controlled environment. So I guarantee you, the experience that you have playing at these events, playing at these private sessions, are going to be completely different from when it's going to be like when we get the game and at retail. It's going to be completely different, and I guarantee you it won't be anywhere near as exciting as how they're making it out to be. It's not going to happen. Okay, moving on from VR, they went to the next Gran Turismo, which is something I actually forgot about because I hadn't talked about it for so long. So yes, the next Gran Turismo is called Gran Turismo Sport, exclusively for PS4, as I expected. It's going to be supporting VR, which... And Gran Turismo is one of PlayStation's longest running franchises. And this should be a big thing when a company comes out and is like, here is one of our most beloved franchises. Here you go, the next entry. This should be an exciting thing. And yet, the reveal for the next Gran Turismo, that dragged. That was very, very dull. It was just what I don't like about these conferences that go on and on and on is when they do the interpreter thing, where it's not their fault if they can't speak like fluent English or aren't comfortable speaking English in public, which is fine. I have no problem with developers using translators, but to go on and on and on like that in just a really slow way, just this like three-way conversation between the guy that was the president of Sony Computer Entertainment Europe and the creator of Gran Turismo and his interpreter, it was boring. It was one of the, like, next to the PlayStation VR, it was the worst part of that conference, which is really disappointing because the next Gran Turismo should be a very exciting announcement. And they made it fucking sleep inducing. It was boring. And the penultimate thing they talked about was Wild, which is a game that I'm really, really excited about. One of the PlayStation 4 exclusives that have my eye on. And I've had my eye on it ever since they showed a brief teaser for it at their Gamescom conference last year. And they showed it off again, and it looks fantastic. Basically, if you don't know what Wild is, it's they didn't really talk about this too much in the demo, so it might have changed. But based on what I've heard, it's an MMO game set 10,000 years ago, where it's not the most realistic portrayal of what ancient times were, but you get, like, in the demo, you get to play as a shaman that has to find this rare medicine for one of his tribe members in order to heal her. So he gets to, since he's a shaman, he gets to control the animals in the environment. He gets to, like, call upon an eagle to catch ingredients for the potion. He called upon a bear for the bear to ride into their destination. He called upon ravens to distract, like, this cannibalistic tribe so he could defeat them. It looked fucking awesome. And I think that was the highlight of the conference for me. Wild. I was fully expecting Dreams to be, like, the highlight, but Wild blew me away watching it. That I hope it's coming out in 2016, but I chances are it's not, because they even said it's still in very early development. So it looked great. It's also from Michel Ancel, who of course did Beyond Good and Evil and Rayman. He's a legend. So him being involved with this, it's gonna be good. And then the final thing they talked about, which is this is one of the things that I was expecting, and it's the next game from Quantic Dream, and it looked interesting. And this is based on a short tech demo that they released back in 2013, 2012, or I think I'm gonna go with 2012. And it was about this robot who could feel emotion, who can feel emotions, so they decided to like not send her to be one of them. I guess they just sent her out into the public, and so they're making a full game based on that. I was hoping they would make a game based on that Dark Sorcerer demo they showed last year, not last year, but in 2013, which I thought was hilarious. So I'm disappointed they aren't doing that they're doing this instead. But for, fellow Jim Sterling fans out there, I couldn't help, and I'm like a new convert to the clan of Jim Sterling, and I think he's great. But I know he's like notorious for making fun of David Cage, and how David Cage just overuses the word emotions and feelings and all that shit. And watching him on stage, watching David Cage walk on stage, it wasn't even a minute before he started going on about it's emotional. We wanted the audience to feel emotions. What does Kara think about emotions? And I was like, yeah, he does say that a lot. And I don't hate David Cage. I don't hate Quantic Dream. I think they're a very good. I think he's a good creator, good writer. I think his games are very interesting, even though they're very flawed most of the time. I do not really care much about Beyond Good and Evil. Not Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Two Souls. I really like Heavy Rain. I still think that's the best of their games, because that's basically like a playable David Fincher movie. And then Indigo Prophecy I like. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this new game of theirs is going to be like. It's called Detroit, and like I said, it's about this android that has emotions. Yeah, it looked good. They talked about, but my concern about this game is that AI stories, sentient, feeling AI stories have been done to death. I mean, there's like AI. There's that Steven Spielberg movie, AI, Artificial Intelligence. We had Chappie, which was a fucking terrible movie. We had Chappie come out just recently. There's been a lot of stories out there about AIs that are feeling and want to, are confronted with a sort of like weird technological racism from humanity and shit like that. I mean, it's a story that's been done to death, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to get anything revolutionary from this game regarding like any kind of breaking story developments, but it looked interesting, and I definitely will keep my eye on it. Hopefully they'll talk about it more, like at a PlayStation Experience, or maybe the Video Game Awards show, or whatever. So yeah, that was an interesting finale for the show to end on. Final thoughts on the conference? It was okay. I mean, it was all right. It wasn't Sony's E3 2015 conference. We didn't get to see Rhyme, which really annoyed me. We didn't get to see Last Guardian, which, where the hell is that? I want to see more of that. We didn't get to see anything from Square Enix or Rockstar or anything like that. Stuff that I was hoping for. One guy made a prediction that was like, we would get to see the Final Fantasy VII Remake's battle system, which I was like, they aren't going to show that for another like year or so. That game is way far away. So yeah, I'm not surprised they didn't show anything crazy like that. But it was okay. I mean, it could have been better. Could have been a lot worse though if it just went on more and more about VR. So yeah, I mean, it was okay. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of PlayStation's Paris Games Week show. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? If you agree on my stance on VR and all that. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.